This is it. I mean, I normally get up at 5 o'clock. I'm done here, I think it was here at like 5:25 or 5:30 or something. All right, let's see if we can remember how to catch fish. As recently as 20 years ago, there would have been probably 20 plus boats who went and looked down toward Plymouth. And now, literally, there's nothing. Nobody.
Frank Mirarchi is a commercial fisherman in New England who drags nets on the ocean floor to catch groundfish like cod and yellowtail flounder. Only a decade ago, there were over 1,000 fishermen like him. Now, he's just one of 200 who try to make a living in this industry.
The New England groundfish fishery is a complete disaster, and it's just, there's no way that anybody can make anything positive out of it. I have no idea what we're going to do with this boat. I'd probably sell it, I think. It's cost me $1,000 a week. The mortgage, the insurance, the haul-outs, the dockage. You know, it's an expensive boat. And now it just basically is draining the family finances. It doesn't make any economic sense.
Up and down New England's coast, the groundfishing industry has been dwindling because of ever stricter government quotas that limit the amount of groundfish Frank and others can catch. First introduced in 2004, fishing quotas were supposed to rebuild depleted fish stocks over a 10-year period, and at the same time allow fishermen to continue making a living. But in 2011, government scientists reported that instead of rebuilding, the groundfish population in Mass Bay had actually plummeted.
Over the last 10 years, there's been about 60% reduction in fishing effort. And so there have been substantial management actions. There's been great sacrifices from people in this fishing industry, but they haven't really reaped the rewards of that for all of the stocks because some of them just are not recovering.
Can we rebuild fisheries without hurting people? No, we can't. That's the hard truth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Frank Mirarchi. I'm a commercial fisherman from Scituate, Mass. I own and operate the fishing vessel Barbara Peters. This basically is perhaps the end of an era. Fishermen have fished from the ports represented by our sector for 350 plus years, continuously. These are all family-owned and operated businesses that basically, once out of the fishery, will never return.
I'm here to make a candid observation from someone who has tried desperately to put their faith in science and the rewards that it can bring us. I don't have that faith today.
What I'm seeing here, being my first meeting, is there's a whole lot of guesswork going on. When I listen to this report, it's, well, we don't have this, we don't have that.
Fishery science is extremely uncertain. We really don't have the budgets to determine very precise surveys. We have very noisy surveys of these resources, and so we need to take that information, the monitoring of the fishery, the surveys, and what we know about the biology of the species, and put those together into a stock assessment model that has uncertainties and sometimes major uncertainties. The reality there is that we just haven't had the production from the natural system that we expected when we designed these rebuilding programs.
Yes, there are yellowtails left in the ocean. Astounding. I believe we're only catching like 60%, it's not even 60% of the total allocated amount of fish every year. So we're catching just slightly more than half of what they say is okay to catch, and yet we're still in a crisis. You know, go figure.
In Gloucester, the oldest port town in the U.S., these new quotas affect more than just fishermen.
I started up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Sat here with graders trying to grade our ground fish, make sure that all gets sold and everybody's happy with their price. You're looking at our fees, what we make does not make sense, does not make this business work unless you're doing 18-hour days, 6-7 days a week and doing it by yourself.
Nick Gilinsky, along with his two brothers, took out bank loans to build a fish processing facility. After a promising start when the plant opened in 2011, Nick is now concerned about his future.
There's no money left in this business to not do it and work those kind of hours. You can't hire the crew, you can't be staffed, and that's what everybody doesn't understand is we're already sacrificing enough. I mean, there's no way you can ask 4 or 5 guys to do any more than what we're doing right now. And we're just barely making it right now, just barely.
On January 30th, 2013, the New England Fisheries Management Council met to vote on tighter groundfish quotas that would stay in place until 2016.
We have been pushing this system beyond its ability to reproduce for many, many decades. Many of the fisheries are at risk because of the failure to manage for the long term. You are in a crisis.
And how do we balance the need to rebuild fisheries and the cuts necessary to do that with people's ability to survive? This is what's before us. And so the day of reckoning is here.
It's tough to support a motion that says this is the best we got. You know, it's game over for just about everybody on that.
These men and women in this industry will be going out of business.
Nobody can deny that the codfish are in a lot of trouble. And it's not easy, and it's this council's job to fix it. We waited too long, and now we have to pay the piper.
Please read the motion on the board and answer yes, no, or abstain. John Bullard.
Yes.
Mark Gibson.
Yes.
David Gaethel.
No.
Doug Grout.
Yes.
Motion carries.
The motion passed with a 12-4 vote. Codfish in the Gulf of Maine would be cut by 77%, haddock by 71%, yellowtail flounder by 53%, among others.
This used to be like a gathering spot, you know, all the guys would come down, and even on days we didn't fish, you know, we used to have a big coffee maker on the boat and make a big pot of coffee. None of that happens. Nobody even comes down anymore. So now I brew my coffee in a paper towel. It's pretty kind of sad.
What we're trying to do is we're trying to start a cooperative amongst the fishermen in Scituate that takes the fish that we catch, and instead of just having the individuals sell these fish into the wholesale market at whatever the price of the day might be, to actually do the processing ourselves and to sell a branded product of local, sustainably harvested day boat fish into the region at a premium price. The problem is time. You know, my 70th birthday is the week after next. What I'm trying to do is keep this place alive.